Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry Gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 238th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by ATEBIT.net and Audio Technica, and I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan 8-Bit. And joining me today, the Baron Zemo to my Winter Soldier, my podcast ride or die. You can find her on them socials at Miss Ellie Hart. Miss Ellie Hart, how you doing today? You gave me a bit of a look then with that comparison, so I think I'm in trouble and we're only a minute in.
I'm not in trouble. Actually, I'm probably the one that's in trouble because I haven't even watched the previous episode. So
Okay, that's all right. At least you've watched some. That's better progress than a lot of other shows we've talked about on here.
That's true. That is true. And you gave me a good character, so I can't complain.
Yeah, and you got sweet dance moves.
Yes,
you can rock that dance floor action
snappy
there.
dress
So
on. Yeah.
Daniel Bruhl is a great actor, and I love him as Zemo. So more of that, please,
Yes.
MCU. But we're back for the 238th time. It's been a week. Been a lot of news coming our way this week. So we've had to sort of cherry pick what we thought were maybe the biggest or best topics to cover off. So excited to talk a bit about that. But maybe we should start how we always do and talk about what we've been doing this past week. Miss Hart, did you want to lead us off?
I've just been playing Apex. For whatever downtime that I had to game, I just wanted to get into something that I knew that I liked and that I could get straight into. So I've just been playing Apex. I'm preparing for the new content, so
Yeah.
I've just been churning out, bloodhounding, and that's it. I think
he's your boy, or they're your boy, they're your person.
Yeah, they're my boy, guy, person.
Yeah.
And I think I got to play as Gibby once, so I can't complain.
He's really starting to pop up more in the meta. You see a lot of Gibby popping around these days. Like, he's got some utility. Like, obviously, he's a bit of a bigger body to shoot at, but yeah, his abilities and just his survivability is coming up more often than not in parties you go against.
Yeah, I would never normally play as a character like that, but I was watching a esports event and I just wanted to watch one of the players, like one of their perspectives, and I found a decent esports player who doesn't talk shit, who doesn't talk smack, just goes on about the game and answers any questions like people had, like with pure sincere response, and for me that was rare. So I hung around, and because I watched their stream so much, I learned how to play an effective Gibby. So now I play as
That's your alt.
Yeah,
thanks to one of the few good competitive players / streamers that don't get angry and dickish. So that's great.
It's so rare. Like, anytime you click on a competitive player's stream and they're talking smack, they're being really rude, they're like, oh, it's this person, or oh, it's the gun, or oh, it's the meta, or oh, it's this, and I'm just like, just play.
Just excuses.
Yeah, I don't know. So
speaking of excuses, I just wanted to say with the audio, if it has been a little bit funky the last couple of minutes, we've got the doggos in with me at the moment because old Bentley Bear's been a little bit sick the last couple of days, so he's sitting off shot here, and he just spewed up one of the biscuits he ate. So I don't know if you heard those noises. That was a French bulldog retching, and now he's licking up the little biscuit he spewed. So I'm torn if I kick them out of here so this does not continue, or if we just roll with it and that's just going to be this episode. So what do you think, Ms. Hart?
I think we just keep it because I think the audience has now just received the most rarest form of ASMR. We like to mix it up here at the Hungry Gamers.
French bulldog ASMR. I think that's a niche that a lot of people would be about.
It is. Instagram is the craziest thing where you find that you have a weird thing, what piques your attention. My thing is I love watching these videos where people make drinks. it sounds weird, but it's like for some reason it really calms me down. And they put like ice and they put milk or coffee and tea, and it's always fancy and a little bit of fruit. I find it super relaxing.
Yeah, I like to watch beverages and foods get created, especially when it's shot in a really nice way.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, But yeah, there's not many nice things going on in this room right now. Yeah, vomiting and farts and snores. So it's a mess. It's a mess. But it's what you've come to expect sometimes from our content in mind. So listeners, stick along because it's going to be a good episode. Yeah, so I've played a little bit of Apex this week, not a ton. Was fortunate enough to sync schedules up with you a couple of days ago. I only got to play, I think, 2. I don't know if it was 2 or 3 matches. I think it was only 2.
I think it was only 2. Like, unfortunately, by the time we were able to line up, I was having eye issues because I'm old. But I was like, look, I'm so sorry. Like, we're only going to be able to get one game in, and we dropped and died instantly. And I'm like, all right, one more game, and we won.
We did win, and it felt great.
Yeah,
it was one of those matches where it was mostly sort of non-combat for a lot of it. Like, we were sort of just getting to zones and no one was there, so we made our way to the back end of that match with minimal battle time, but then just it lined up for us nicely. We had to do this very aggressive. He was pushing all the time.
Our teammate was extremely horny for action. Like, just ran off, and we kind of had to just tag along and chase after him. But I mean, it obviously worked for us. So.
It did. So it felt good to get that W. Outside of that, played a little bit more Outriders with Benny, but I'm going to park that for a little while now. We've had the game's been ripe with problems and bugs since it came out, but the main one that's been of note is the disconnects.
Oh.
And when you're doing like the end game, getting the pod resources, and they're tense fights, and you play it at a high level, and you've got a timer you need to kill all these enemies by to get a gold tier, silver tier, whatever it might be. So it's really, really bonkers battles, and we've had so many disconnects where myself or whoever's the host, it seems to be always the way, they drop out. So then that whole game session ends and you get kicked back to a lobby. All your progress is gone. Like, you do get some of the items you had up to that point based off where you got to, but like when you're pushing the clock to try and get there to get the chance at a legendary drop, it is so disheartening. So it happened. We played a couple of nights this week, and I'd say out of the 2 or 3 nights we played, I think we had maybe 5 or 6 DCs during these things, and it just knocks the wind out of your sails.
That's terrible. Like, the fact that as a party leader, it takes both yourself and your party with you. At least, like, when that sort of stuff happens, like, I'm going to use Destiny for an example. If one person drops, usually people can still stay within, like, the raid or whatever, so then that person can jump back into where they all left off, kind of thing, join back onto the team. But the fact that it takes everyone with them, that sucks.
Yeah, and like, if you're not the party leader, you're stuck in like this limbo of like lost connection to host, trying to reconnect for like 2 minutes, and then it eventually just kicks you. So very frustrating. Hopefully People Can fix that up. But outside of that, I played a couple of games. One I sort of talked about playing a few weeks ago, Narita Boy. So that's a Studio Koba sort of side-scroller action adventure, you could say. It was fine. Like, I played an hour or so, but I just really wasn't feeling it. Like, nothing towards the game. Like, the art style is fantastic. Like, it's 80s pixel synthwave. It looks like you're in, the 8-bit art style wet dream. Like, it's really cool. The story's quirky and ripped straight from like an 80s adventure film. Like, it's really great as far as running around this digital kingdom as the Narita Boy, and you gotta discover the mysteries around this techno sword. Like, it's super 80s sci-fi action cheese, which is awesome. Really cool feel to it. Aesthetically it was good, but yeah, I just wasn't in the mood for this type of game at the time. I pushed through and I was having fun, but it just wasn't scratching the itch I was looking for. So I parked that and then jumped across to another game on Game Pass I downloaded called Yes Your Grace, which is like a role-playing strategy game done by Brave at Night. And you take on the role of this ruler of this medieval kingdom, and you've got all your host of subjects coming to you every time in the throne room, and they've got issues. So, please, sir, we've been attacked by bandits. Can you send people here? Or our tavern's burnt down. Can you spare money or supplies to rebuild? Rah 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 rah. And you've only got finite amount of resources to utilize each week to upgrade. So you've got to sort of juggle. I'm going to please this group of people, say no to them, but then there's the risk of it might be an uprising, they might try and dethrone you, or it could lead to other things down the line. So you see all your actions play out with subsequent reactions, and the overarching story is this army's coming for you eventually after, I think it's after 30 weeks or something. So you've got 30 weeks to work through to try and build up your kingdom, but also then get alliances with other kingdoms around, so you can fight this impending war, and then you're obviously juggling the love or the hatred of your people at the same time. So it's kind of fun. It's just mindless, clicking through text and reading through and trying to work out how best to distribute the king's earnings or the crown's earnings and things like that. So it was just good distraction, something different that I had some fun with. And sadly on my playthrough, I think I made it to week 20, and then I ran out of money, so that was a fail. And then another time, the approval rating, I guess you could say, of how I was doing as a king got into the negative. So then the people overthrew me. What I sort of restarted my save. And so it's kind of cool to see what you've got to try and juggle, like as far as keeping everybody happy, keeping money in the bank, keeping your subjects content, working on these alliances. So there's a lot of things you juggle, as you would, I guess, as you're a king. And it was just good, dumb fun. Like, I know it's on a ton of platforms. It's on like the Switch, and it's on Xbox and PC and stuff like that. So it's cool. They're both on Game Pass. So like, didn't cost me nothing, but it was a good collective, maybe 3-ish hours between Yes Your Grace and Narita Boy that I sunk in just one night. I'm like, I need something to play. I don't want to play Apex right now. Don't want to play Outriders. Let's try something different. So I gave them a spin, and they're cool. They're cool. Give them a look.
Yeah, it's good to mix it up sometimes.
Yeah, and they're both well reviewed on on Metacritic and on Steam and things like that. So a lot of people really enjoy these games. Outside of that, Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 6 aired last night, so the finale of the first season. Really enjoyed it. Not saying spoilers, but I know you weren't really feeling as strong about this show that I was, but I really enjoyed what I got in these 6 episodes, and the finale, I thought it was great. A lot of things that were said and images and whatever else. Like, it was a very powerful show. I think it was powerful in how it was. Like, it didn't really have a huge amount going on from a narrative all the time, but just some of the real world themes that they were addressing throughout this show, I thought was really good, and it's very unlike what the MCU has done. From a tone perspective. So I really liked it, and I'm excited for more. I really, really enjoyed the bond between Bucky and Sam. I know you weren't sort of too keen on that, but hopefully when you watch the other episodes, because what are you, 2 episodes back now, including the finale?
No, last episode, I believe, and then obviously the finale.
Yeah.
So okay. Just 2. I just, my problem was there was something weirdly fake about the way they acted. Like the Falcon, he's fine, but like the Winter Soldier just had this weird like change that it's just throws me off. Yeah. Doesn't feel real.
I miss his long hair. I think that's what I miss the most about old Bucky Barnes. I liked him with the long Winter Soldier hair. Yeah. He's still, he's still a good-looking rooster. Don't get me wrong, the old White Wolf. But I enjoyed what they did with the 6 episodes. Not going to go into spoilers, but I thought it was well done. And Marvel are on a good run now with these first 2 Disney Plus shows, and we've got Loki coming out in about 6 weeks' time. So we'll see what that happens to do. And from the trailer, that looks bonkers. It looks great.
Yeah, it does look like I could enjoy that one more. To be honest, like, I didn't really follow much of the Thor, and I'm pretty certain I skipped. Was it Age of Ultron? No, or was it the first Avengers movie? Whatever one Loki's in, I skipped it. So
wow,
there's a lot of stuff like I didn't take in for Loki, but seeing this trailer, I'm actually genuinely interested. So
Yeah, and Tom Hiddleston looks like he's just having fun.
Yeah.
He's a great Loki, so I'm keen for that in a month or so's time. I got around to watching Demon Slayer season 1 on Netflix.
Okay, who turned you into a weeb? Who is it?
Yeah, I'm a card carrying weeb, but this show, like, you know, I'm a fan of anime and manga, and I've watched a lot of anime over the years. Like, I'm not probably as up to date with all the hotness that a lot of the other crew that we sort of kick around with are, you know, NATO and Benny and like the NPC boys and stuff like that. Like they live and breathe this stuff 24/7. But I haven't really watched anything as of late, but I thought, yeah, I'll have a look at Demon Slayer and see what it's like. It's on Netflix and it's got an English dub. Like, take my weeb card away if you want, but I prefer to watch an English dub because that way I don't have to concentrate as much and I can do other things if I need to, and, you know, whatever. But I really, 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 really like this show.
Yeah.
You know, good amount of violent, good amount of funny, good amount of heart. The combat's really cool. Like, anytime there's swordsmiths and stuff involved and brutal melee combat, I'm all for it. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed season 1. Like, season 2, I think, comes out later this year, and obviously they've released the movie, which is yeah, and it's back in cinemas. So the English dub is actually in cinemas here in Australia. So I think in the next week or so, I'm going to go solo session to watch the Demon Slayer movie at the cinemas and get my fix. So I'm excited for that because it's really great. It's really great. Like, Nezuko and Tanjiro are like the main protagonists of the show. They're a brother and sister. Their family got attacked by demons, and they're the only two that survive. So their family gets wiped out, and yeah, Tanjiro and Nezuko working through this together. I guess it's not really spoilers, but Nezuko gets attacked by this demon, and she turns into a demon herself. But she sort of like maintains some of the heart and the human elements. Like, she's not just this mindless killer like all the other demons are. So they're working together in a way, but yeah, Tanjiro's off to try and find a cure for his sister and bring her back to humanity again.
Is she the one that's sucking on some bamboo?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really good. I really enjoy it. Like, cool combat, cool story. You know, episodes are, 20-ish minutes a pop. Usually with a unique type of demon they fight with some story, progression of the story as well. A lot of memorable, quirky characters, and heart with some seriousness, with some gore too. Like, there's decapitations and, dismembering and stuff like that. It's a good mix. So I'm really digging it. Really digging it. It's not like a light rated G or PG type of thing. Like, it is an MA rated anime. No.
I honestly, because of that girl with the bamboo in her mouth, because she looks like a kid, and she, like, a lot of the stuff I see about it looks very juvenile, so I just thought it was like a kids show. So
yeah, I was under the same impression, but then I watched it and there's bloody blood flying everywhere and limbs flying everywhere. I'm like, okay, yep, this is my speed. I'm in for this. So yeah, if you're looking for some anime to watch, give it a spin. It's on Netflix.
I mean, it's super popular. Everyone loves it. So yeah, like, I guess if you said so, I'm a sub person. Like, every time I've watched anime, I always go to subs. But if the dub isn't too annoying, then maybe I can do it.
Yeah, I thought the dub was good. Like, it's got from what I was talking to Benny about the other day, apparently the dub track on it's pretty good as well.
Okay.
But yeah, the sub was good because I started watching it while I was just doing some work, so I was half on the laptop, half watching. So that's why I like to watch anime that way, so I don't have to give it complete 100% control and focus where I'm reading text lines. But yeah, it was good. And something I'll very briefly touch on, because we'll dive deeper on this sometime later next week or on THG 239. But I went and watched the Mortal Kombat film at the movies. Mama Loz and I took some time out and went and checked that out. And I got to say, I really, really like it. Was it perfect? No, it was not. But it was nearly 2 hours, and it was dumb and funny and violent and cheesy, and I think exactly what I was looking for this movie. Like, it wasn't going to be an Oscar winner, It's not going to be, getting awards for the best story or the best performance. That's for damn sure. But, like, You know, the combat was really violent. The martial arts that's on display is phenomenal. It's some of the best traditional sort of fighting you've seen in a movie in a good long time. The fatalities are cool. Kano steals the show, though. Old Josh Lawson, the Aussie who plays Kano,
Really?
he makes this whole movie for me, in my opinion. Yeah, he is phenomenal in this role, and I was pissing myself laughing nearly every time he was on screen, but it was so good.
I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle watching him because he's in Superstore.
Yeah,
He plays
he's the bloody pharmacist.
Yeah, and he's great in Superstore, but like now I'm going to see him as Kano. I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to separate the two.
I think you should be able to. Some of the things he says, and like you'll be able to like appreciate what he says too, because some of the things he says is so like bogan token Aussie, like that. Well, you'll hear it and you'll be like, yep. You know, I've heard that so many times over the years, or down at the shops at the pub. You know, whatever it is, like it's just perfect Australian mannerisms, and yeah, he's just a crack up. It's so good.
That's so good. Yeah, unfortunately in America we only just got it available to streaming midnight last night on HBO Max. So I'll probably be checking that one out on the weekend. So
nice.
Really need to see it because people on the internet aren't as clever as they think they are at hiding things. So
yeah, I'm keen to get your feeling on it. So because I know you really enjoyed the original.
I love the original movie.
Through all its charm and warts and everything included. And this has got a bit of that too. But overall, I think they've executed it well. Cole Young, the new character they wrote in as the lead.
Whew, poor guy.
Yeah, you know, he's not the best, but everyone, like all the other parts.
I feel for him.
Yeah. It'd always be tough, I think, like creating new characters for familiar, globally renowned and loved universes can be tough.
I just was hoping like that they made like a lovable character or a character that people would like, because the poor guy, the second that they said, oh, here's this character, oof, the fandom. And like, so this poor actor, you know, like is he an actual martial artist, I believe?
Yeah, Louis Tan. Yeah, he's a martial, like he's been in a few films and stuff, but he is an actual martial artist as well.
Yeah, so I just feel bad because like, yeah, he already carried a lot, and then if the character technically didn't work out, then it's like, sucks.
Yeah, he's all right, but like I think it's more so too because there is a lot of big actors in this movie that are, I guess, bigger on screen too with how they can portray these emotions. Where he's like probably known more as a martial artist as opposed to an actor. Like there's not amount of a variety in his delivery. Like the character's okay, and I like how they brought him in, but yeah, he certainly, I think he falls a little behind the main ensemble cast, you know, Sonya and Jax and co.
Yeah.
Liu Kang, Kung Lao, those guys. Ludi Lin, who plays Liu Kang, when you watch this movie, he is one of the most jacked human beings I've ever seen in my life. Like you'll see a scene where they introduce Liu Kang and he's, you know, just doing his little warm-up moves, and the muscle definition on this dude is ridiculous. It is absolutely bananas how yoked this guy is.
Oh no, poor dehydration.
It looked like it. It looked like he hasn't had a drink in about 60 days. Like, you know, but it's cool. And the combat was cool. The assortment of characters they brought in was great. And yeah, very violent, very, very funny, which I think worked well. And I think, you know, we'll talk about this more in a future pod if we end up doing a spoiler cast too, so we can go into some of these spoilery things.
Yes.
I think I know why they went some ways and not other ways, or brought in characters and didn't bring in characters. So,
True. But
I'm excited, and I'm hoping we get more of these movies. Like,
yeah. I'll obviously have more to say once I've watched it, but I'm not. Here's my thoughts before I go into it. I'm not expecting a masterpiece. I'm not expecting like, you know, groundbreaking, you know, cinematography or whatever. But like, I just want to see a movie that kind of respects the franchise. That like it has characters. I know there's definitely one character in there that I care about. So yeah, I just want to see what they do with it. I want to see how they respect where the roots from it come from, and see what they do with the story. I'm happy for cheese. I'm happy for laughs and everything, because I feel like that is still attached to the franchise, especially way back when with like fatalities, babalities, and all the other crazies that they added in. So, yeah, I think that's the base, like where I'm coming into the movie. So, and then now I want to see how I feel afterwards.
I think you're going to be happy. Like, just describing what you're looking for and hoping for, that this movie does that. Like, there's a lot of fan service, a lot of respect to the universe and the characters and the origin stories and all that, but then it mixes in the violence you all know and love, fatalities, witty lines and stuff. I think it's just a good dumb popcorn movie, but the potential now to build out off this world was what the foundation they've laid here has me a bit excited, you know. And there's already rumblings that one or two of the cast members are like, yeah, we signed on potentially for 4 movies. Like, well, yeah, sign me up. Make another 3 of these. Let's go.
Could this be my Fast and Furious?
Yeah. Well, we got Fast and Furious Jurassic Park crossovers apparently coming next, which is absolutely insane.
I thought it was space.
I'm not at all surprised.
I thought they were meant to go to space. Too. Yeah.
It never ends. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, if you're looking for something to do this week, next weekend, whatever it is, go watch it. If you can go to the cinemas here in the AU, but if you're around the rest of the world, get on HBO and watch it in the comfort of your own home and just switch off for 2 hours, have a laugh, be mortified by some of the violence, be impressed by some of the martial arts, and just be happy that another video game movie is good. You know, that's something you don't usually hear. These adaptations, they're usually crap, but this is it's a good movie. Okay. Is it perfect? No, but it's good. That's great.
At least it was good and it wasn't fine.
Yeah, it's better than fine. It's better than fine for me.
It's better than fine. It's good.
It's good. But yeah, that's what we've been doing. Quick little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, if you want to support us monetarily, kofi.com/weare8bit. If you want to throw $5 AUD a month our way, that will be greatly appreciated. It helps keep the emotional and the literal lights on here in the studios. And you get access to a ton of exclusive content. We're talking podcasts, giveaways, and other miscellaneous swag. Only available at ko-fi.com/weare8bit. If you wanted to get your hands, on one of the 8-bit Founders coins, they are still available in limited supply over at Ko-fi as well. $20 AUD gets you one of those bad boys delivered to you anywhere on planet Earth. And lastly, our April giveaway is still live for another week. If you want to go in the running to win yourself an ADG1 gaming headset, 8-bit t-shirt of your choosing, one of those aforementioned Founders coins, and some extra swag, all you got to do is leave a review on iTunes on any of the 8-bit related podcasts. That could be The Hungry Gamers, that could be Comedy Rewind, that could be the 8-bit Cast, could be Putting in Work, could be Han Rolled First, could be Hoop Dreams. Leave a review for one of those. Take a screenshot of that. Send it through via the DMs on the socials at weare8bit or email us at hello@8bit.net. And you're automatically in the draw. If you're supporting us on Ko-fi as well, you're automatically entered again. So you could get double entries if you're doing the review as well as Ko-fi. And the winner will be announced in May. But Miss Hart, shall we do a tasty ad read?
Let's do it. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Let's get some nice background ambiance going here as we talk about our friends over at Audio Technica. Whether you're a budding podcaster, streamer, YouTuber, or just an audiophile, Audio Technica had you covered with the best range of audio equipment in the market today. If you've listened to us at least once before, there's a strong chance you've heard us talk about our podcast origin story and the fact that Audio Technica have been with us from the very beginning. The AT2020 microphones were the first mics we ever hungry gamed into, and as you all know, you never forget your first.
Navigating the world of video games and pop culture with the leaders of audio-based equipment has been quite the journey. The news might not always be the best or the most positive, but our audio most certainly is. And listeners, you can start your content creator journey with their Creator Pack Pro, which includes the AT2020 USB Plus mic, a ATH M20X headphones, and a hand boom arm. It is the perfect kit to get you started on the road of audio-based greatness. If creating content isn't your bag, you can still get your hands on an assortment of headphones that come with all the latest bells and whistles. Bluetooth, noise cancelling, in-ear, over-ear. There's something for everybody over at audiotechnica.com.au.
And Audio Technica is currently running a competition over on their Twitter account for Australian-based residents, and this will be drawn on April the 29th. So you can win yourself not only 2 vinyl records, but also a pair of ATH M50X BT. So they're the ATH M50 headphones that we are rocking right now on the pod, but these are the wireless Bluetooth versions, so it's going to be cable-free for your audio fidelity. Head on over to Audio Technica AU on them Twitters for more details, but you've only got a couple of days to enter there. So that's twitter.com/Audio Technica AU for more details there. Obviously, yeah, drop those iTunes reviews to get into a competition to win some Audio Technica swag through us as well. But Miss Hart, let's get into some news.
This week's news headlines.
All right, the first couple of hit points, we're talking numbers, we're talking figures, we're talking all that kind of fun stuff. And the first one, Mario Kart Tour, Nintendo's gacha-filled mobile racer, which lets you tug on a warp pipe to earn a Lederhausen wearing Luigi. It's doing pretty well. It has earned $200 million USD in 18 months and racked up over 200 million downloads worldwide. I got 2 more little hit points here, and then we can jump into them individually if you like, or keep moving, Miss Hart. But the next one, CD Projekt refunded around 30,000 Cyberpunk 2077 copies over the last couple of months. The developer reports relatively few customers actually took up the offer to refund the game. So 30,000 copies were refunded out of an alleged 13.7 million copies that were sold in its launch month alone. Holy moly, that's a lot of units out. And the last numbers-based hit point here, Discord has ended its acquisition talks with Microsoft, but the $10 billion offer could be, in quotes, rekindled in the future. So there's a couple of numbers-based things there for you, Miss Hart. Anything there stand out that you want to highlight before we move into some more beefier bits of news?
I just wanted to point out that the CD Projekt wrote like the refund of 30,000 in contrast to the 13-something million copies. Like, I know a lot of people ran into some hurdles trying to return their game through PlayStation. So you already had people who tried to return it and then obviously hit hiccups. Then you also, I'm not even sure if these numbers include physical copies, or if they're just digital copies. And
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's on me. I could have probably dug deeper to find out what that 30,000 distribution was. I
don't even think they would actually elaborate on that, to be honest. But like, overall, just because it's 30,000 out of 13 million, there was still like a good chunk of unhappy people who are holding on hope that maybe that they were going to have their redemption. But yeah, like CD Projekt Red was gloating numbers this week, and it was earlier this week, I believe, that's when they were gloating how much money I think they made from their like overall sales, or maybe it was pre-orders or something, and it was really not. Seemed in bad taste, to be honest, to be gloating about how much money you made. And then this article that came in talking about like 30,000 copies being returned. But this whole thing kind of like is always going to have like a sour taste to it. So
yeah, it's always going to be a sensitive topic, that's for sure. Anything regarding Cyberpunk 2077, whether we're talking successes, we're talking negative situations with the game or bugs, it's always going to be a bit of an uncomfortable discussion because the game came out and it broke a lot of people's hearts, got the world very angry. You know, they made a lot of money. They refunded a very small portion of these games from these numbers that were tossed around this past week. But you can't deny the overall success of this franchise and the hunger for more Cyberpunk 2077. So, you know, we've said it enough on the pod now that we hope CD Projekt has learnt from these mistakes, and moving forward, there's going to be smoother releases, more honest, press tours leading up to these game releases, and just being more open with the, usability and bugs and potential jankiness and broken ports and stuff like that. So, But yeah, 13.7 million, that was in the launch month only. So I'm curious to know if that's edging up towards maybe 20 million total from then. So that was in December. So we're 4 months down the line now. I'm assuming there's been a bit more of an uptake. Obviously, it's still off the Sony store. So that's one less throat to choke there. But they've got Xbox, they've got Steam and Epic and all these other platforms where you can play this game. But yeah, it's crazy. And the Discord thing, $10 billion, that offer has been parked for now, or those discussions have been parked. I think ultimately they're going to get bought out. And for that kind of money, why wouldn't you? But yeah, Microsoft trying to pick up more audio-based platforms after Skype and things like that. They're just taking over the audio recording world, it seems.
Microsoft's just flashing how much money they got.
If I had that kind of money, I guess I would too. I'd be trying to waste money on strange things. But yeah. The next bit of news. This is a bit of a big one, actually. Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan announces departure from Blizzard after 19 years. Got words here from Matt Wells over at Eurogamer. So Jeff Kaplan, Overwatch director, Blizzard Entertainment vice president, and one of the studio's most recognizable faces, has announced his departure from the company after close to 20 years. Kaplan began his tenure at Blizzard in 2002, quickly joining the World of Warcraft team as a designer and eventually becoming game director on the MMO. He left World of Warcraft in 2009 to work on Blizzard's ill-fated Titan project, which was cancelled after a lengthy development, but went on to serve as lead director on wildly successful hero shooter Overwatch, and has very much been the public face of the game since its launch in 2016. In a message announcing his departure, Kaplan wrote, "I am leaving Blizzard Entertainment after 19 amazing years. It was truly the honor of a lifetime to have the opportunity to create worlds and heroes for such a passionate audience," end quote. And it goes on to say, "I want to express my deep appreciation to everyone at Blizzard who supported our games teams, and our players. But I want to say a special thanks to the wonderful game developers that shared in the journey of creation with me. Never accept the world as it appears to be. Always dare to see it for what it could be. I hope you do the same." In an update on the official Overwatch website, Blizzard added that Aaron Keller, a long-serving member of the company and a founding member of the Overwatch team, will be stepping in as game director following Kaplan's departure. This is a bit of a big one, Miss Hart. Yeah. This is a very big one. He is obviously Blizzard Entertainment Vice President. That is quite the title and the vacancy that is left behind now with Jeff Kaplan, who has been a very loyal soldier for Blizzard for many, many years. We sort of spoke offline a little bit before we recorded today about obviously the discourse around this due to the whole Activision situation, which could have led to him behind the scenes getting a little bit frustrated and deciding to move on. Yeah. But Miss Hart, what do you think about this?
I mean, it's going to be strange because, as the article kind of said, Jeff has always been the face of Overwatch. Every time that there's been a stream or some kind of update that they've either thrown on the socials or YouTube or whatever, Jeff is there front and center, and we all associate him with Overwatch. And it's going to be a little strange not to see him, leading or directing those actual videos and those streams. Now, I'm curious to see. Almost 20 years. It's a long time. Like, is he going on to greener pastures? Is he going on to another studio? Is he being whether he's being forced out or he himself is taking himself out because of how maybe the climate is around Blizzard in connection to Activision? His quote, I feel, is very inspiring, but also I feel like it's saying something, like maybe something that the dev team would kind of understand exclusively. It's sad, but I only wish the best for him, because being the face of a franchise is a blessing and a curse. So for every wonderful thing that you do, you're going to have 1,000,001 people tell you why it's shit. So
100%. And I'm right there with you. Like, he was the figurehead of Overwatch for the last 5 years, and obviously Overwatch 2 was somewhere in the ether getting worked on, and I'm assuming will probably come out in 2022, maybe beyond, who knows. I don't know what kind of disruption Jeff leaving will have on the franchise too. Like, will it sort of lose its way? Obviously the developers that work in the team and behind him will keep fighting the good fight, but I wonder how much of Overwatch was his vision and his driving force. So it'll be interesting to see what plays out over the coming months, and if there's going to be further changes amongst Blizzard Activision. But yeah, I really like that quote, like the one that you referenced there as well, like where he says, "Never accept the world as it appears to be. Always dare to see it for what it could be." I think that's a great line that we can take a lot away from there. So we wish Jeff Kaplan all the best with whatever the future holds for this man and see where he ends up in the coming months and what he ends up doing. Who knows?
Yeah.
The next bit of news, Miss Hart. PlayStation are teaming up with ex-Destiny talent to create an exclusive new AAA multiplayer title. These words are also taken from Matt Wales over at Eurogame. He's been very busy this week, Mr. Wales. So, Sony has announced it's teaming up with Firewalk Studios, part of ex-Bungie boss Harold Ryan's Probably Monsters studio collective, to create a new PlayStation-exclusive AAA focused on delivering, in quotes, memorable multiplayer moments. Right. Regrettably, that's pretty much it as far as specifics on the projects go right now, but Firewalk, which was founded in 2018, is a team with a strong background in multiplayer games, which might just help nudge anticipation up an extra notch for its debut title. Ryan Ellis, game director on Firewalk's new project, previously served as creative director on Destiny. Studio head Tony Hugh was formerly general manager and senior VP of Destiny at Activision. Executive producer Elena Siegeman has worked with Bungie, Irrational Games, and Harmonix, and other team members have the likes of Mass Effect and Apex Legends on their CVs. It's a group that's no stranger to building memorable multiplayer experiences, according to Hisu in a post on the PlayStation blog. Discussing the studio's ambitions for its enigmatic new multiplayer title, Ellis, speaking to IGN, explained, "In the end, it's about bringing people together, and then it's about putting a smile on their face, especially given work from home and COVID. Multiplayer is more powerful than ever, and that ability to bring people together and the ability to bring people together and to keep people connected. We're excited in the space that we're in to bring some new ideas and to do a few things that are new to it, and to bring our experience and perspective and the support of Sony to bear on that." This week's news follows on from Sony's announcements back in March that it was working with Assassin's Creed co-creator Jade Raymond's new company, Haven Entertainment Studios, to create a fresh IP also for PlayStation. So PlayStation's starting to gear up, starting to get that marketing train moving regarding some other exclusive big old AAAs coming their way in the distant future. But this is interesting. A new AAA multiplayer experience, talking online, with a lot of ex-studio heads and key decision makers, particularly from Bungie and working on Destiny. Is this going to be a Destiny killer, in air quotes, Miss Hart? What are they going to be doing here? What would you like to see?
I mean, they've said two games that I love, which is Destiny and Apex. Like, they've had people involved in both those titles. So to me, that's a little exciting. Like, those two games especially, I like them as a shooter kind of multiplayer. It's due to gun handling, also how fast it is, and how, like, the lack of downtime. It's just like straight to the chase. So putting those two things together in an online or like a mass multiplayer kind of game, will it be like an Apex where it's just like an arena based game? Will it be a Destiny where it was going to be story and narrative to follow? Overall, this like announcement of just being like, hey, we're a studio, we're working on a game, it's gonna be good. Like, it's feeling a bit empty. I don't know, like, I don't like it. This is me being really pessimistic, so I do apologize, but just kind of, there's been a lot of big Microsoft news, and I just feel like this one was like a bit of a PlayStation flex. It's good to like announce the studios, but like we've had a lot of studio announcements and like a lot of big players in other AAA studios leaving and creating their own studios, but it's just because this one's attached to PlayStation, to Sony, that like, and we got nothing out of it, to be honest. We just got we got a lot of hot air, didn't we? Yeah. A lot of hot air here. Like, it's exciting to hear that we've got this partnership with Sony and Firewalk. Firewalk have got some pretty heavy hitters amongst their group of staff there, so the potential is great. But we don't know anything about the game. We don't know the universe. We don't know the timeline. Like, we don't need another space-oriented shooter, though. That's the big thing. We don't need a Destiny clone. No, we don't need that.
Yeah, like, and we've seen many studios try to make a Destiny clone and fail. And, the player base is dug in with Destiny. Like, They're not going to be jumping ship. So maybe they change it up and put it in a modern universe, or go back in time, go to some primitive world or something. I don't know, but it can't be a Destiny clone.
Yeah.
Obviously you mentioned 2 games you love. I sort of, my heart broke a little bit when you didn't mention Mass Effect as well. I know you're not huge on that.
I've never played it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I've played it enough for the both of us.
I'll
That's
play
all
it
right.
when it gets remastered.
Yeah. But the potential's there. The pieces for this studio to make something good is there. And the fact that, I guess, Sony, as you said, it is an unnecessary flex, but I guess it shows that they're firmly in the corner of Firewalk Studios to try and make something great. So maybe there is some potential that this could be a big time thing for Sony. Like, they're going to probably throw a lot of money behind it. Like, it's completely different games, obviously, and style of games, but like, remember like the campaign and the drive they had behind No Man's Sky. Like, Sony backed this horse, threw an absolute bucket load of money at it. The media campaign was insane. You couldn't turn around without seeing a bloody press release or a billboard or whatever for No Man's Sky. See, the release is a different story, but yeah, it shows that Sony are willing to back these new studios or these upcoming studios and see what sticks. So I'm intrigued. I'm interested to see if this is going to be one of the next, in air quotes, great Sony IPs. Who knows? Like, it could be.
It could be. But like, the biggest thing that I've taken from especially this particular announcement and doing my rounds on listening to other video game podcasts or people with opinions and such, the biggest thing is that they're pointing out where everyone came from and all these like big titles that they've had involvement with. But the only thing that I can think of is, just because these people have had involvement with great titles, just because you put them together doesn't mean they're going to make gold.
That's it. Could be too many chefs in the kitchen type of thing.
Exactly. You can put your favorite foods together and doesn't mean it's necessarily going to taste great. So
that's true. Except fried chicken and waffles. That is one of the best bizarre contrasts of foods. But anyway, digress. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. We'll see more. I don't know when. Like, this studio has been kicking around for 3 years now, and we haven't really seen anything out of Firewalk yet. But yeah, having a partnership like this with Sony is certainly big time.
It is,
and could lead to some good things.
Yeah.
Also leading to some good things, the latest Apex Legends trailer teasing arenas and, in quotes, going beyond Battle Royale. It sure looks like that arena mode leak from last year was indeed correct, as the latest trailer for Apex Legends' new season has dropped, and it's teasing something called arenas. Following on from the reveal of new legend Valkyrie, the Legacy launch trailer shows the usual cast of legends fighting their way through various combat situations before Ash, in quotes, a simulacrum pilot from Titanfall 2, bids viewers welcome to the legacy of the Apex Legends, to the legacy of the Apex Predators, known as the Arenas. A phrase that the trailer description and developers are currently repeating is going beyond Battle Royale, which director Chad Grenier initially told Eurogamer in an interview for the launch of Season 7. One sec. Bentley, stop licking. Good boy. You just chill. I'm back to it. Right now, we're a Battle Royale game, Grenier said. I think if you look into the future, we have a lot of conversations of, should we expand beyond Battle Royale? We have this roster of legends that people love. How else can we use them? I think looking into the future, you're probably going to see the game becoming more than just a Battle Royale game. You see, we have a lot of LTMs, which is limited time modes, and other ways to play. I think that's a great starting point, end quote. So, this trailer looked interesting. Valkyrie, which is a flying character with like shoulder-mounted rockets that you can do like aerial bombardment. She was like Farah from Overwatch.
Yes.
Very much like Farah from Overwatch. Interesting character. We talked offline. We weren't sure how a flying character would move into the meta and if it might be a bit of a game breaker, because majority of characters are obviously glued to the ground. But she looked cool. But I'm certainly intrigued to know what Beyond Battle Royale means. We've got gameplay reveal for Season 9 dropping in 2 days' time as well. So by the time this podcast is out, we're going to get an Apex reveal shortly thereafter. So keep your eyes and ears peeled on them socials for that. But I'm keen. Like you and I, we love this this world. We love these characters. We love this franchise. And I'm keen to see where they take it.
Yeah, I think there's I'm very curious because they mentioned that they have these lovable characters, these characters that people are already attached to. So I'm wondering if they're going to start taking a page maybe from Overwatch, and we might see game modes of like moving the payload, like maybe that kind of stuff. What I'd like to see is a capture the flag. It's something that I think has gone completely missing from like first person shooter multiplayer, multi-online, games. Can't remember who I was mentioning it to the other day, talking about games such as like Unreal Tournament, OG Call of Duty. Capture the Flag was a very prominent game mode, and then it just disappeared. What happened to Capture the Flag?
Would you play Capture the Flag, Winnie? Got Winnie here doing a bit of play by play. You capture the flag, boy. More capture the bone. Capture the sleeps.
Aww.
It is a mode that is lacking in a lot of competitive multiplayer these days. Like they sort of just silo it off to battle royale offshoots and variations. So yeah, I'd be down for a bit of CTF, bit of King of the Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the old King of the Hill? I liked a bit of King of the Hill mode. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're going to break it down solely and it's just going to be sort of like free-for-all mode as well. So you might have 30 people in a map and it's just all solos and stuff as a primary mode.
I can't see them constraining some of these characters, though, into very small maps. You have some very larger-than-life characters. So, like, I was wondering if maybe they went down like a Valorant route. But, like, Valorant maps are pretty compact. It's kind of like CSGO. So they'd have to be looking at a much grander scale.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But we don't have to wait too long, at least. I don't know if they'll be going into, beyond Battle Royale in the next couple of days with this Arenas gameplay, but we'll certainly know more in the next 72-ish hours, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And the last bit of news, Miss Hart, we're going to be tackling is the DICE Award winners for 2021. I got to say, like, this took me completely by surprise. Not the winners, but, like, the DICE Awards have come and gone and were just sort of just snuck out the back door, it felt like. I didn't even know this was a thing, this was happening, and then I saw it pop around on the socials. I'm like, when did this happen? Have I been asleep?
Yeah, I felt bad. I didn't know it was happening either until I jumped on Twitch, and then I just saw that IGN was like, oh, so many hours until the DICE Awards. I'm like, the DICE Awards? Like, was this really the time of the year that they happen? And I think it is. I think it is actually right on time. And they still had the hosts from the previous years of Jessica Chobot and Greg Miller.
So they did. Because I was about to ask that. I'm like, did they even do an award ceremony and have those two back? But I guess they did.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I agree. A full confession, I totally did not realize that they were happening. So.
Very bizarre. But we thought we'd just highlight some of the games that dominated the DICE Awards for 2021. So The Last of Us Part 2, they took out awards for Outstanding Achievement in Animation and Outstanding Achievement in Story. Ghost of Tsushima took away 4 awards: Adventure Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement in Art Direction, Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition, and Outstanding Achievement in Audio Design. Then Hades, the little engine that could, took away 5 awards, including Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, Outstanding Achievement in Game Design, Action Game of the Year, Outstanding Achievement for an Independent Game, and the big one, Game of the Year, where it won that over The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Animal Crossing New Horizons. So damn, Hades just still continuing to crush the awards game.
It's very interesting when we have these respective game awards from their different outlets. So we have obviously the Game Awards, and then we have, I think it was the BAFTAs that we saw. And then we have DICE, and I believe there's a few other little award shows that kind of happen within the gaming sphere. And it's
the Hungries. Yeah. We can't forget the Hungries. That's a very prestigious awards ceremony that happens at the back end of every year too.
Yeah. But seeing either some consistencies but some irregularities. I was a little bit shocked to see that Last of Us only got a few mentions, like winning awards. But we are still seeing a consistency of Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and Hades consistently up there as contenders or winners. So super proud of Hades though, leading the way, just knocking out all the awards as well as the illustrious game of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Big win by Hades there. 5 awards, Tsushima with 4, and then Last of Us Part 2 with 2. So that's cool. But yeah, I still just in shock that the DICE Awards have come and gone. And I literally did not see it on my socials at all until the winners were announced. I'm like, this is a thing? Mm-hmm. What? All right, Miss Hart, that's the end of the news. Maybe we should jump over this one.
Tweet of the week.
This tweet comes via way of Joseph Fares, so you can find him on them socials at Joseph_Fares, Fares. And it was a retweet from Hazelight Studios. And the original tweet was, wow, just found out #ItTakesTwo has sold over 1 million copies and is still going strong. Thank you so much for all the love you've shown our game. It means the world to us. And Joseph with the retweet said, this shows that there definitely is players that also want to play co-op only games. Thank you to everyone, and I hope we see more games like this.
Here.
I agree. I love me some couch co-op. I love me some co-op only games. I love me some games where you have to play with a friend, an enemy, or whoever. You have to play with somebody to achieve the goals. And this is awesome to see. It Takes Two looks fun, looks quirky. Like, as you said, it looks very Nintendo-y, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
And I still want to play this game.
Yeah. The co-op game has definitely diminished. It's like I can barely think of many co-op games out there, and I think it's just like a very everyone knows that I'm not really good at playing, or not good at, but I just don't like playing heavily story-based games. I get bored of it, or it just loses my interest. But if there is that co-op element where I can bring someone in to, join me on that journey, I just enjoy it more. Like, I feel like with Borderlands, I barely ever played Borderlands alone. I always had someone else there with me going through the missions and the story together. And I just think it makes a game way more enjoyable. But I don't know, I feel like co-op is a dying genre when it comes to gaming. And I believe with It Takes Two, the way that they did it, and I think we've seen it before, where a person buys the game and then they receive a code, so then a friend can bust in the code and join in as a co-op, as opposed to always finding someone who also owns the game, which I think is great too. Yeah.
Which is great because, it not only cuts the cost down, so if, you or I wanted to play this together, we just have to buy one copy. We don't have to buy 2. We can just, sort of share that game access to the other person and jump on and give it a run. So I'm hoping we see more of this because, it is a bit of a throwback, but it's great and it needs to still hang around as 2 Frenchies come flying in with various paraphernalia. Bentley's got a big rubber toy and Winston's got a big goat antler. So that's going to be the final act of 8-Bit ASMR for this episode. We're going to be hearing all the chomps and licks and slurps and all that sexy stuff that gets Twitch subscriptions these days. So, let's get more co-op games.
Yes.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that also that It Takes Two did so well. I remember when it first got announced, I was kind of like, I wonder how well this one will do. I believe a trailer was first shown at, I'm going to say, the Game Awards. Maybe it was one of the summer gaming events where they had
might have been a Keeley special.
Yeah, maybe. So, and I kind of looked at it, I'm like, I'm not sure about this one, but clearly there was a need for it, and especially while everyone's so isolated, it's good to just bring people together. Yeah. Two games I always think about regarding co-op is Kane and Lynch and Army of Two. Did you play those 2 games? No, I didn't. Isn't Army of Two really heavy?
Really, really heavy, really violent. You wear armor and guns that are made out of gold and just kill everybody.
There was that game that was released not so long ago. Was it called Brothers? And that was also a co-op game. Was it called Brothers?
Yeah, that was that was pretty heavy from a tonal perspective as well. But yeah, more co-op games developers, please and thank you. All right, last part of the pod here.
New releases and events.
So we're talking releases from the gaming and culture universes from Monday the 26th, which is when this episode of The Hungry Gamers is out, right through to Sunday, May the 2nd. Obviously, you would be listening to episode 238 of The Hungry Games right now. Later this week, on Wednesday the 28th, is this thing on. We'll be dropping exclusive over at kofi.com/weare8bit, and Genshin Impact is available on the PlayStation 5 only. The next day, Thursday the 29th, Comedy Rewind will be dropping, and that is a focus on 2003's Jim Carrey classic, Bruce Almighty, starring Australia's John O'Peck, also Australia's Benny McJanet, and Australia's Brendan White, aka myself, talking about Bruce Almighty and all the things that come with having godlike powers. Friday, April the 30th, new Pokemon Snap plus Returnal plus Terminator Resistance Enhanced
Jeez.
are dropping.
Gosh.
So 3 big games there. 2 of them certainly bigger than the other. I'm curious to see how many people get on new Pokemon Snap from day one, as well as Returnal, which is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So looks interesting. Just hasn't, like we talked about that offline, hasn't sunk its hooks into either of us yet.
No.
But I'm hoping it does, because I want to play something new.
Yeah, we both acknowledge that the game looks amazing, but just gameplay-wise, I don't think we've been sold on it yet. I think I'm going to have to watch a few playthroughs. Yeah,
me too. And then that same evening, we're going to have the latest episode of Invincible over on Prime TV. But sadly, no new episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier this week, because that season is done. But that's it for new things or events coming out this week of note. Miss Hart, anything you want to say before we close this podcast studio down for another week?
I just want to give a mention that a game that I've been kind of following has a demo available for download. On Steam it does. I'm not too sure how it's looking on consoles, but the game's called Tunic. You play as a little fox and it's a cute little action adventure. So think kind of like Zelda, but it's very cute and very adorable. So the demo's out, so it's kind of good time to always try out a new game, and it just looks adorable. So yeah, you're
gonna play that and report back next week for episode 239.
Literally like downloaded it just before this podcast. So yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, 8-Bit Nation, that brings us to the end of episode 238 of the Hungry Gamers podcast. Thank you to each and every one of you stopping on by and chucking us in your ears. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe us on your podcast player of choice. It helps keep the emotional lights on in our hearts. Obviously, you want to go to audiotechnica.com or audiotechnica.com.au for the best in audio-based equipment. You want to get some sexy 8-bit swag, obviously shop8bit.net or 8bit.net as your central hub for all gaming and culture goodness. But Miss Hart, I think it's time to get on out of here. So until next week, 8-Bit Nation, much love.
And stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.
And listeners, sorry about the severe amount of dog noises and slurpy and crunchy sounds. Hopefully your THC experience has still been more than adequate.
I'll be
watch
doing
Mortal Kombat.
I was going to say, I'll be doing it next week.